No.
Yes. Right.
So you guys need an alignment, not coaching.
The coaching industry has exploded.
We want to be better. We want to move forward and keep growing.
Uncoachable is going to be released bi-weekly with a new coach, a new idea, a new approach, and a new takeaway. Hi, I'm John.
I'm Rhys, and he's Uncoachable. Hello and welcome to Uncoachable. I am Rhys, and with me is Jon.
Hello, hello.
And we are joined by Earl Huyghen, who is from. This is Insights. Is this yours?
Insights is one of the products I represent. Company is PeopleFirst. And
Perfect.
That's what we do.
Fantastic. And you've already off to a good start because you brought us a ton of free gifts.
Yes.
Like these stress Duplo. Is that what we'd call it?
Sure. I love that. Yeah. I haven't had referred to that before, but I love it.
I'll do a little ASMR unboxing. There we go. I'm going to squeeze this while Jon jumps in.
Right. So, Earl, thanks for being with us. I think we first met at a PR conference.
Yeah.
And you sort of suggested to us that as partners, we may need coaching, which was before we even launched Uncoachable. So it was nice to reconnect with you as well. And I know one of the things that you talk about is trying to make sure that work doesn't suck. And I assume that Rhys and I are probably part of the equation of whether it sucks or doesn't suck. And you were kind enough to sort of put us through the ropes and take an insights psychological, not test or a review, but sort of something as a reveal. But before we get into that, one of the things that we like to do is just give you an opportunity to sort of introduce yourself in your own words and your background. I think you didn't start out as a coach. You have a colorful background, and your journey to where you are would be wonderful to hear.
Very good. So I'm Earl Hoeg. My company is PeopleFirst, and that's what we do. We help managers put their people first. I've evolved a little bit with my mission statement. I no longer say that I'm on a mission to make work not suck. I've kind of moved to, we're really focusing on humanizing work. We want to help people bring their best selves to life and work, and I really put it in that order. And one of the systems that we use primarily is the Insights Discovery System. It's a psychometric instrument that helps people understand themselves and, more importantly, move to appreciating their colleagues. And that way it helps individuals and teams connect. That builds trust, and trust is what delivers results.
It's interesting because I actually had the opposite response. I appreciate myself less after getting my report back. So I'm not excited to reveal myself. So
I was kind of creeped out because I felt like from doing that test, there was like, I'd say 80% of it I kind of agree with. And then there was like a few little bits. You said, put a question mark on the bit that you're unsure about. But it was kind of freaked me out. I was like, oh, wow, from doing that one test, you kind of built like quite based on feedback I've had from other people, and maybe I would perceive myself, what I felt was pretty accurate. But also we've got to give you credit because your conversation we had at that PR networking event kind of was the initial seed that led us on the path with this podcast.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
We really appreciate it. And I already, having done the test and the report, I'm kind of like leaning in going, okay, great. Where's this conversation going to go?
Yeah. Well, so you had asked me, John, about my background. So I was a leader in the federal public service for 27 of my 33-year career. And I had the chance to really be exposed to all the systems that were out there. A lot of the other systems that are similar to this might be Myers-Briggs or DISC. A lot of your listeners may have heard of those. And Insights Discovery, for me, those other tools are really like seeing life in black and white. They will do some good. They'll create a little spark of self-awareness. But what I loved about the Insight system was, it's like seeing life literally in, high definition color. So it's like see life in color is much better than in black and white. And it's really a system. It's not just a profile, it's a program. And the database that our system is built from is thousands of statements. It's very, very unique to you based on how you answered those the forced choice questions through the evaluator. So, and there's no good or bad or right or wrong. So, John, don't feel bad about your profile. It's not a competency. It's a preference. It's really meant to be just an understanding of who you are when you're not trying to kind of show up.
Right. Well, I think I read that I'm a reformed dictator.
Reforming
director.
Reforming director.
Currently reforming dictator.
Right. Yeah.
Just to come back to your background a little bit about your backstory, your your business is focusing on people, but you come from a federal kind of government background, obviously is interesting that like that people complain about bureaucracy and the system and people getting lost in kind of large government organizations. Is that kind of is your skills navigating that and kind of, focusing on people in those environments? Is that the angle, or is it just that was your passion moving forward?
I think, like a lot of managers and leaders, I was kind of an accidental manager. I didn't seek out to complete performance appraisals and deal with difficult conversations. I took on a role because I wanted a promotion and I was looking for more challenging work. But what I learned early on, I had a really great mentor that shared I was struggling in my first supervisory job. And he shared this quote with me that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so for me, that really put me on that path to focusing on people. And when I look at my career in the federal public service, I regulated the wireless industry. I worked for Canada Border Services Agency. I was the head of corporate real estate in my last job in government. And I worked in a training and learning organization. But the one thing that was in common across all those was my focus on people. My passion and I would take leadership books on vacation because that was what I was consuming. That was my entertainment. That was my passion, was helping my managers get better at leading their teams.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Yeah. I don't have a lot of experience working in and around government that was based on like perception of how people feel, but how does it feel now to be like out and doing your own thing after kind of your illustrious career, I guess?
Yeah. So it's funny, it probably took me about a year of being on this journey to come to the conclusion that I had been an entrepreneur trapped in a public servant's body for 33 years. I think if I had known that while I was in government, I might have got a little stir crazy and not been able to survive. But I mean, in reality, I had really great bosses that gave me a lot of rope and a lot of room. And even when I did have some bosses that didn't give me as much rope or room, by that time I had the confidence just to take the rope and room and build things and really be an entrepreneur within government. When I look at the things and the opportunities that I got to do, the organizations that I got to build, I really that entrepreneur was there. Just didn't have quite the same freedom and flexibility that he has now.
Yeah. It's funny because Rhys and I do have a perception of large organizations or government spaces being less creative, less flexible, less nimble. And I'm sure a lot of people have that same notion, but I love that the theory of the entrepreneur, the person that, because we're all organizations are made up of people and we're all so broad and diverse. And so you can have an entrepreneur in a large organization like a government and still have flexibility to do innovative things.
Yeah. I think it's about just realizing that like what it is that you have control over and just taking that opportunity and doing it. So there were probably a lot of people at my level that weren't exercising as much freedom as I was or pushing the boundaries as much as I was. But yeah, you've got pockets of leaders that are wanting to do really cool things, and there's a large number of amazing people working in the public service.
So tell us a little about, you sent us an email saying do this kind of test. John did it immediately. I did it in the 11th hour, which is a recurring theme.
Well, wait, I thought it was a race because last time you went first. This time I wanted to beat you. It was just purely competition.
It was just competition.
I won this one.
So we filled in kind of multiple option. It was like 27 different...
25, yeah.
25 different pages. It took me a while. I read it and I couldn't work it out. I was like, it's broken. And then John was like, no, you're just doing it wrong.
I was much more supportive than that.
I know you were more supportive than that. But that was me telling myself, you're just doing it wrong. And then we now have these reports. John read his, and again, I didn't, but you gave it to me and made me read it before we started. So tell us a bit about this kind of this process and this report that we've kind of been through.
Well, let me introduce the insight system because it's interesting the way that you just set up this question. And so I'll start by, again, there's no right or wrong, good or bad. And maybe we can do a little experiment. I don't know if it'll bang the mics, but I get you to cross your arms just for a second. Okay, so like we all have a preference for how we cross our arms. You didn't have to think about this. It came easily, right? Now I want you to uncross your arms and cross them differently.
I feel like a genie or something.
Yeah, it was a little bit uncomfortable, right? Like you had to think about
Glad
it.
we didn't do it with the legs in the yoga position.
It feels so wrong.
Yeah.
Well, and it will. And if I leave you here long enough, you'll probably fall back into what's comfortable. Right?
Yeah.
So that's the core of what we're talking about. Is like so much of our communication is based on our subconscious. We don't have to think about it. Like 95% of our communication is based on our subconscious, and if we don't kind of interrupt that pattern, we're just going to show up with our preferences. But you have a preference, so you have a personality preference, and that's what the evaluator pulled out was your preference for how you show up at work, how you see yourself at work. But it is just a preference. So we all have access to all four of the colors. It's about realizing that others don't see the world the way we do, and yet we can both be looking at the same thing and both be right. So that's kind of the foundation piece. And then when we get into the insight system, it's based on the work by Carl Jung and his work from personality types going back to 1921 that's been studied and updated by thousands of researchers since. And so the four color energies, we presented in the four color energies. You'll hear me use the adjective with each of the colors because that makes it a little bit stickier. So the first,
these are building blocks.
The first, the duo, the stress blocks.
Stress Duplo.
Stress Duplo. I like that. I'm gonna see if I can trademark that. So the system breaks down in terms of is organized based on four color energies. So fiery red is about getting stuff done. Like it's competitive, demanding, driving, strong-willed. You're always in go mode. It's about performance. It's about measures. It's competition. So it's like, yeah. What's the summary on the block, John?
Well, it actually has my name written on it.
Yeah. And the summary on it says?
Be brief, be bright, be gone.
This block is shaped like John's face.
Oh, yeah. So it's funny because we talked about when we filled these out in order, for me, it was a competition, which is kind of what you just described.
Red. As demonstrated by the red block.
Right.
Yeah. So we might be getting a clue into, which color energy, John might lead with. So the next color energy is sunshine yellow. So sunshine yellow it's about enthusiasm, persuasion, it's ideas, it's innovation, it's fun, it's sociability. When we're accessing our gifts of sunshine yellow, we want to be involved in everything. It's like, like Donkey on Shrek going, pick me, pick me, pick me. What's the summary on the block for sunshine yellow?
Involve me.
Yeah. So, that person that comes in on, Monday morning and is sharing all the details about what they did on their weekend and all kinds of detail. And if you can't think of who that person is, that might be you. That's sunshine yellow. It's just, I want to be involved. I want to be in the thick of things. I've got all kinds of ideas. I'm generating thousands and thousands of ideas. And, maybe some of them might be good.
Sounds like yellow may really annoy red.
Yeah. Yellow and red are kind of... They do fit together in a block context, but maybe not in real life.
Maybe. Well, there's all, again, it's about adapting and understanding what the strengths of each are, right? So in terms of, sunshine yellow may, procrastinate things, leave them to the last minute, might complete things at the 11th hour. I'm just, no reveal here yet, but just saying. And just to complete the model, Earth Green. So Earth Green is about diplomacy. It's about relationships. It's about harmony. The summary on the block for Earth Green?
Show me you care.
Yes, show me you care. So it's about people. When we're accessing our gifts of Earth Green, we're great listeners. We're listening for what is being said and what is not being said. It's about the people focus, the relationship focus. So that's the gift of Earth Green. And Cool Blue. Cool Blue is about process. It's about formality. It's details. When we're accessing our gifts of Cool Blue, we want the details. When I'm running a workshop with a team, I want to make sure if I have a team of individuals that have Cool Blue, that I've got the details on the repeatability, the reliability of this system, because they can't be satiated. They just want so much details, ask a lot of questions, very reflective.
John is just red and blue then.
Wait, I haven't read blue yet. We have to wait.
Okay.
Yeah, and so the summary on the block for blue is?
Blue says, give me details.
So usually we're not just one color. Right? Well, none of us are just one color.
We'll just swap. I'll have double.
You're gonna double up here. You're gonna double up.
You just have 2 reds and 2 blues. I'll have 2 greens.
I don't know that this is permitted in my system. I don't know if I can allow swapping of blocks. This kind of goes against.
You can build a wall of harmony. It's fine. There we go.
Oh, no, wait a minute. You ended up with red and green there, Rhys.
It's actually the colours of the Welsh flag.
Oh goodness, you're right. You're supposed to have the yellow.
There we go. So, that's awesome. Now, reading the results of this, some of it I was like really fanned my ego. Specifically the line, what is the bit I underlined?
Is this your involve me part?
His obvious charm. I like that phrase. I'm just going to leave it in that context.
Okay. His obvious.
No, but there were some elements you said to, like, I felt like it felt based on like my own self-image from others and everything, etc. Like kind of a pretty good estimation. But obviously you said to put some question marks on bit that I weren't entirely sure.
Yeah.
So one, for instance, that stood out was like his home will be a haven for people to have a good time and will have memories or photographs of people having a good time. I'm actually very unsentimental in terms of objects and things. And but that, again, like how would that test know that? So I kind of feel like, but 90% of it felt really bang on. So.
Yeah. And that's kind of the average when we do a face validity assessment of the overview section of people's profiles. It generally comes out at 90% or greater. And so by underlining those statements that you felt didn't apply to you, that if you had 5 or more that you underlined, that would suggest that it was only 90% accurate.
Okay.
So if you had less than that, then it was even more accurate. Then
I think I had 4 things.
Okay.
So again, it's not a criticism. The accuracy was kind of like creepy to a certain level.
Well, and that's what I love about this work. When we're running a workshop, especially an in-person workshop, quite often people will not have received their profile in advance of the session. And they'll have a half hour before we start moving into profile sharing where they're just quietly reading their profile. And I will get like a few gasps and go, oh, this is creepy. Like, how did you know this about me? And it's like, well, we didn't know it about you. You knew it about you. But
you gave us this information.
Yeah,
it's a very thorough report. It's a 22-page report, I think, that sort of goes into. And the assessment tool, I think, was, I don't remember how many questions were there, but it was a good amount of time spent sort of thinking through and going through that assessment, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. It's of course. It's so currently the evaluator that you used was a 25. It was a 25 frame evaluator, sets of adjective pairs where you chose. We're moving on to our new platform, which pulls out another set of preferences from Young's work a little bit more, and it'll be a 35 frame evaluator. So, but it's. It's very interesting when people go through it and they come back and they go, okay, how did you know this about me? And like I say, even I've introduced the system as the 4 color energies, but it really it's a blend. So we're not just one or another. We have access to all 4, and it's really just about understanding what comes most easily to us. And when we go through a workshop, we really work through building up the appreciation and realizing, okay, well, I'll use Rhys's example earlier about, process and systems. And, he started to kind of cringe on it. Where would we be as an organization, as a team, if we didn't have someone that was focused on processes and systems? If that's not our strength. Yeah. But we need to know, if we know that about ourselves, then we know, okay, well, let's lean into somebody else on our team that does have that strength, that does have that gift. And, the same with like Earth Green and making sure that, okay, well, who's going to make sure that we remember that there are people at the end of this that we need to impact, so that we want to impact positively.
I just skipped ahead to page 8, possible weaknesses. And I had to close the page because it scared me a little, John.
Well, before we get into just Rhys, which is what color is involve me, yellow.
Yeah.
if we can give you a chance to sort of give us a bit of an assessment on not just individuals, but us working together. What's this? So you'd said your primary focus is that team building structure.
Yeah.
So should Rhys and I break up?
Absolutely not. No,
This is the beginning of the end.
No, if you, I will suggest that when you look at pages 10 and 11, the communication do's and don'ts, a good colleague and mentor of mine recently described those as the marriage saver pages. So, you may, I should ask, we haven't done your reveal of the color energies that you lead with yet, but based on what I've shared with you, do you think that you may have married or in a relationship with your psychological opposite?
Well,
Opposites attract. That's what they say.
Yeah. Well, that's it's interesting from a business standpoint. Having conflicting or opposite views is often very helpful.
We find it complementary,
right? So to have processes, I value having structures and processes, but I rail against them often because I want to be able to improve them, which means we challenge them, we get better, we apply the practice, and then we carry it forward. Where Rhys's greatest strength is every single time reinvent the wheel. Applying the processes or having consistency around them is not his strength, but be able to say, oh, there's a fail point. Let's fix this, or let's challenge this or change this, right? So that's that complement, I think, which is good. So I would say in many factors, in the way we approach things, we approach it from an opposite perspective, but we do it from a collaborative and a position of respect, I guess.
Yeah. I like this. It says, strategies for communicating with Rhys, the top one, be tolerant of his need to switch topics without notice. Good. And then when communicating with Rhys, do not restrict or restrain his natural exuberance. So
what are
follow this, John.
What are some
goodness.
So where are you at, John, in the profile?
Well, so I think I'm also on the effective communications, to be effective communicating with me. So this would be a tip for Rhys: be well structured and organized.
Write it down on a post-it note in writing I can't understand.
It also says leave quickly. Be prepared to leave quickly. I don't know what that means.
I like
brief,
that one.
be bright, be gone.
Yeah, exactly. And what about do nots? How should I not communicate to you?
Oh, I didn't print that page off.
I know, but I gave you a complete profile, so you have your whole printed profile.
Well,
no excuses.
Why don't we?
He doesn't want to show his weaknesses. Come on, John. You've got to be vulnerable with me if we're going to move forward.
Why don't we get into the reveal?
Okay.
Yeah. So let's turn to page. I think it's 21 or 22 in your report. 22. So this is the graph section. This will kind of show what.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's the one. The bar.
Oh, mine says
chart.
I'm right.
So there's no good or bad, right or wrong. Let's just clarify that. So there's no one profile that's better than another. So let me just so the system is built, as I mentioned, on Carl Jung's personality type. So it's built on your preference for introversion, extroversion, thinking, feeling, sensing, and intuition. So it's how are we oriented to the environment? Where do we get our energy from, introversion or extroversion? Do we think with our, with our head or with our heart, right? Are we focused on tasks or relationships? So that preference. And then it's how do we process information? Do we just see what's there, like concrete here and now, a preference for sensation, or do we give interpretation and meaning to it? So that's how the system is built. So in terms of the color energies, how that relates, fiery red and sunshine yellow are both extroverted energies. So they're both you get charged up you get your energy from the external environment. So as business partners, you both, you share that common preference. The other preferences are, like say, thinking and feeling. So that would be cool blue and fiery red are both a thinking preference, and sunshine yellow and earth green are both that feeling preference. And sensation and intuition exists all throughout the wheel. So the way your graphs are shown there, it's showing anywhere you have a 3 or more on that chart. It suggests that you have easy access to that. So you don't have to put in much effort to access those two color energies. So Rhys, for you, what are the two color energies that you have easy access to?
Easy access.
Yeah, and focus on the conscious persona. I won't get into trying to describe them.
Yellow and red. Very easy access to yellow.
Yeah.
Comfortable access to red. Barely any access to blue. It's so far away. I'm never going to get it. And the green, it's just under 50% on the green. So
okay.
I suppose that's pretty even. Yeah.
And how about you?
No, I think I actually have the perfect balance here, Rhys. Is they're all pretty much around the 3. But
did I mention the fiery rip was competitive? You get the sense that Jon wants to win this. You're like, Jon, there is no right or wrong, good or bad. Like there's no winner. It's about there will be a winner. Your team will be the winner as a result of this because you will understand yourselves and them better. So.
There's always slight inside jokes as well. Rhys has been recently told that he's got a perfect balance of certain characteristics. So I'm just trying to catch up. Is all I'm trying to do.
You're balanced in your colors.
I am relatively balanced in colors. That said, you're right. Red is kind of off the chart.
It is.
And then quickly followed by blue, right? So,
yeah, and this kind of looking at that page as well, it looks like you've brought this kind of incredible kind of chart that's on the table in front of us. So people who are in the audio only medium, it looks a lot like the Wheel of Fortune, but instead of prizes, there's words like director, reformer, observer, and it's kind of like a pie chart, like circle of visualization of the colors, almost. And I suppose it's another way of visualizing the graph, I guess.
Well, it is that, and it gives us the opportunity to move now beyond just the 4 color energy. So we start to introduce the 8 types. So those are the words that you just read, and they're meant to be. They're not meant to describe a role. They're meant to really just talk about like characteristics of traits that someone in that 8 type might show up with. And sometimes it's easier if you add an ing on it, that you're reforming as opposed to reformer, or directing as opposed to director. So don't get hung up on the words. We really don't want to label people. That's not what the system is about. It's about just giving that shared language. But what it does. So this wheel is what we would produce for a team. So when we run a team workshop, we take the color energy preferences of every member of the team and we plot them. We go beyond the 8 types now, and we go to 72 address on the wheel. So everyone ends up with their address on the wheel based on how many of those color energies they have above the midline and the order of those color energies. So that determines how you're plotted on the wheel. So in terms of a team, we can see that. Jon is identified as a director. He's a reforming director just based on his position, which of the other 8 types he's closest to. And your wheel position is inspirer.
It says on here, motivate and inspirer, in brackets classic. So I'm a classic motivational
You're a classic,
inspirer.
yeah. So classic refers to the fact that you have 2 color energies above the midpoint.
Okay.
And if you had 3 color energies, you would have been accommodating. Accommodating inspirer, and so the 8 type that you're a part of is inspirer. You're closest to the motivator is the next 8 type. So you're a motivating inspirer. And when we do this, you can start to look at, well, as a team, if you ran this workshop with all the members of your team, and or if we added Cameron into the mix here, or where would they sit? And then it's understanding in terms of when we're tackling problems, what color energies do we need to dial up more of in order to make sure that we have a balanced approach to whatever it is we're tackling? So,
right, which I think is great. So that was when I was thinking about when we were starting this, the 3 outcomes. One is to look at my personal gaps, and Rhys's personal gaps, but then also the gaps that he and I have working together, which we know they are a lot. The third thing is you're right, the team. So if you were to look at our structure, would you be able to make recommendations on who we should be looking at, or what's missing, or what are the characteristics in other employees that we should have? Anything of that approach,
so our system isn't intended to be used for hiring. But it's meant for personal development, because we're not talking about competency. What we're talking about is like what comes most easily to you when you're not putting in the effort. So both of you may be very good at making sure that you're focused on people and that you're taking care of those relationships, because you understand that that's important. You've had some experience. You realize, okay, it may not be my first instinct to put in the front of my email, how are you? How was your day? but you've learned that, okay, other people actually appreciate that, so I need to do that. And it's the same with systems and processes. So that cool blue, it's okay, that doesn't come easily to me, but I know that without that, if we don't have schedules, we don't have rigor in what we're doing, it doesn't matter how innovative our process is, it's going to fail because we're just not executing on it. We're not doing that follow through. So it's both a tool for you as an individual, as a leader of a team. And in terms of when we do the team wheel, with the kind of the reveal of where everyone is, it's about thinking about how does that position us for what we need to tackle, and maybe delegating to someone, hey, it's more difficult for me to dial up and show up with those behavioral traits as an observer, but our team really needs that because we need that rigor and that discipline. Can you focus on that? And absolutely, people will have the competency to, but they may be tired and fatigued at the end of it. Whereas if you let them do something where they get their energy, it's going to be easier.
Yeah, and you did a caveat at the very beginning that talked about our natural preference with the arms crossed.
Yeah.
So if you know what you typically do, but know what you have to do, you can sort of change the behavior, right? So yeah.
And have you got any examples where you've seen this kind of really click with people and them kind of like reallocate responsibility or like restructure what they do and then come back later and go, this has made everyone's lives. When we're more productive, we're kind of doing things in the way that we should be doing them.
Well, I'll point to a case study from the ROI Institute. So they used Indeed, the big job board. They're a big user of the Insights Discovery system, and so they did a case study of their use of the system, and they determined that they had a 2,063% ROI as a result of deploying the Insights Discovery system.
Wow.
Mostly as a result of reduced turnover. I think 10 million of the savings was because people now were less likely to leave the organization because their colleagues now saw them as a person. Like, we all just want to be seen, heard, and understood. And this is the start of creating a user guide for employees to feel connected to their colleagues and to their bosses. And bosses were a big part of it as well. So once their boss understood, okay, Earl's not being difficult because he's, by asking a lot of questions and constantly, challenging me. Earl's personality preference is that he leads with cool blue, and he wants that detail in order for him to quietly reflect. And I'm using that as an example. That's not my lead color energy.
But Rhys and I had a situation where we had to make a decision. We made the decision, and then it drove Rhys crazy on the execution of the decision, where I wanted to make sure everything was done right. All of the details. It's like, we've already made a decision. And he was looking to sprint forward with it. And we had a little bit of understanding and knowing that we approach the execution of a decision, or even getting to a decision differently, just the different ways that we go at it. So you're right, it becomes the trust of being heard and being understood and building those relationships, right?
Yeah. And I think I can see how, like, as someone who's like been, I remember this is probably a good case study. I'm not a detail person. I'm dyslexic. And I was once at a summer job with a giant filing cabinet. Those electric ones that kind of, you press the button and they rotate around. And my job was a mess, and they needed it put in alphabetical order. So it was very like process driven, very detail focused. And that was my summer job. And by the end of it, they were like just pictures of Batman drawn on the folders. And, it was, they didn't ask me back the following summer, you can put it that way. But that's an example of me not the wrong kind of person doing the wrong kind of job, whereas there could have been someone else who did that job and did an incredible version of it, and I should have been doing something else.
Yeah, well, I think we do have some people will go through this, and we ask you to answer the questions in terms of what's expected of you, like how do you see yourself at work. And we didn't get into this, and we won't have time to kind of do the debrief on the conscious persona and the less conscious persona in your graphs. But what the less conscious persona gives you is kind of how you show up when you're not trying to show up. And if there's a big gap there, so some people, when they go through this, they'll realize, wow, like my job is requiring me to show up with a lot of cool blue like your summer job, and that's just draining me. That's not who I am. I lead with sunshine yellow and fiery red, and it's just not a good job fit for me. Or people will they'll look at that and go, okay, that makes sense. Like I'm fine with that. I can do that because I have the competency to. But you know what? Like when I'm out of work, I'm going to go and I'm going to do my Batman drawings, and I'm going to read cartoons, exactly. Or I'm going to engage with others. But I can do this because that's my job and I'm going to get it done.
Yeah. I see why that helps with the retention element, which goes, am I in the job that I really thrive in as well? Do I like these characteristics? Do I like myself in those roles, right? So when you looked at that filing structure...
Well, it was mutual. I didn't want to come back and they never wanted
well,
to.
And now they can't find it. They don't know where anything is filed. Yeah. Rhys's
alphabetical order.
Batman and...
But I was just doing whatever I could just to take a break and motivate myself to keep going. I was like, right, I need to do something creative. Now I can carry on sorting the files.
And that's it. Once we know that about ourselves, right, is where are we getting our energy from? And if the role, isn't providing that for us, what's the conversation that we can have with our boss about, okay, can we take on some different roles? And, in a small organization, I mean, we all have to do ling work, low interest, no gain. You just got to get it done. It's just, someone has to do it. But if we know that's draining us, then how can we find that other outlet so we can bring our best selves to life and to work?
Yeah. You can't just say get on with it.
Yeah.
I've actually moved ahead and I've been looking at my key strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
And I don't want to reveal any of them.
Why?
Which I think is one of the weaknesses.
Actually, that's definitely one of your weaknesses.
Actually, that's
again, John. How are we supposed to grow?
The second last one is fear's loss of face in any situation.
Oh, without a doubt, John.
What?
They call him Mr. Last Word.
Read this one here for me.
May pay lip service to team issues. Oh, is that
can't be right?
I thought you cared.
This is wonderful, right? So, yeah.
I'll give you one of mine as well. One of my on us communicate. Where's my weaknesses?
You can't find your weaknesses.
Weaknesses. We go. Leaves a flurry of chaos in his wake.
You're so proud of that. You think that's a strength?
That's part of my problem. Is I'm like, that is a strength.
Yeah. Well, that brings me to a good another piece of the theory is going back to perceptions, right? It's about how do we see the world.
Yeah.
And so I introduced the 4 color energies, kind of describing them on a good day, how they might be seen. But when they're taken to an extreme or they're overused, they can become a weakness. We all know that, a strength. But the worst of it is that to others, and especially to our psychological opposites in the system, we could think that we're having our best day. That this is great. Like I'm bringing order to chaos, and it's like, no, you're just being frantic and hasty. So, that
you just described last Thursday.
And the thing is, I find chaos interesting. I think is where cool things happen, and I
like that messiness.
Yeah, no, I think that like when you're on the back foot, or when things are when there's upheaval, changes, creates opportunity and things, but not in a way where it's going to like make other people go, I cannot work with Rhys.
Yeah.
That's like the last thing of the intention. So I do have an element of pride in a statement like that, but not to the point where it's destructive. Yeah. It's more of I like the chaos as a pit of creativity more than anything.
Yeah, and if I look at your profile in terms of, so it is that innovation, it's pushing the boundaries, it's that sunshine yellow, like let's just go ideate. But you have easy access to your fiery red as well. So you're moving quickly to, okay, let's get it done. And John is going to, okay, let's just get it done already. Like forget that ideating. and then let me carve the path for how we're going to get there. And once that path is carved, let's stick to it. And it's like, no, Rhys, don't change it. Don't innovate on it. We agreed. This is our way forward.
He literally goes, I don't remember what I did last time, but it worked.
Yeah, exactly. But I could do it better this time, even though I don't remember last time. I am going to print off my weaknesses and put them visibly on my desk. Okay. For me, I think that is in an effort of being aware of them. Maybe I'll put the strengths next to them. I don't know. Yeah. Just to give it a bit of balance.
So here's a trap that a lot of us fall into when we get any kind of assessment is that we do zero in on our weaknesses, or if we look at a color energy and we say, oh wow, I really have I don't have easy access to my cool blue. I really need to work on that. It's really not about that. There was a great article by Peter Drucker in HBR many years ago. It was called Managing Oneself. And it gave this point about, you can focus on working on weaknesses and go from being poor to mediocre. Or you can take something that you're already good at, take a strength and go from good to excellent. And what's going to bring you more job satisfaction? So I encourage you, absolutely, this is about awareness. It's about understanding, look, when I'm on autopilot, this is how I show up. This is what's going to come, most easily to me. But I can interrupt that autopilot anytime, my thoughts are not facts. I can replace them with other thoughts. And so if you really want to, leap forward and develop, focusing on your strengths as well is a pretty good opportunity too. So just continue to build on those strengths.
Thank you so much. This has been incredible.
Thank you.
So my last question
sorry,
before we
you
go,
got another question.
it is.
No, that was a great summing up.
It was a really good summing up, and I like that focus on individual growth and improvement. The last thing that we're hoping to get into is that team structure, the team building, which is sort of the area of expertise and your focus as well. Is there, or are there complements? Are you looking for all of the colors on the spectrum within teams? Are you looking for the broadness, or are you able to say a red and a blue work really well together and start to build individual teams around color, preferences, structures, characteristics? Is there any insights that you can share in regards to team building around the insights results? So
the one key fundamental piece that I haven't shared yet is that it really is about adapting and connecting. And you've probably heard the golden rule, treat everyone the way we want to be treated. Well, we don't believe in that. We believe in the platinum rule. It's treat everyone the way they want to be treated. And so you really need to understand what is it that comes most easily to them? How can you adapt and connect to allow them to bring their best selves to the job? And so in terms of a team, it's, yes, ideally you want to have members of your team that can access all of those four color energies. You want to have that understanding of your team about what are the areas where they're stronger, so that you can identify for the situation or that relationship, where do we need to show up with more of that, color energy? What are kind of the liabilities or the things that we may overlook on our strategy or our business plan? I ran a session with a team of HR professionals, and they were debriefing on their 2024 year in review. And I was just listening. I already had their team wheel, which was, predominantly sunshine yellow, earth green, and a lot of cool blue, but not very, very easy access to fiery red. And it was interesting listening to their debrief. I was there an hour early, just observing their session. And there weren't very many key performance indicators. There weren't very many concrete, tangible results. There wasn't a lot of that focus on the fiery red. So after we did the workshop and they saw their team wheel, I kind of brought them back to, this is playing out in how your team is operating. And there's senior leaders or others that are going to be looking for that fiery red in your results in your report. So it's just about understanding that and going, okay, we might overlook this. So what do we need to do differently?
Mm. Yeah. I wonder whether there's a good connection between a fiery red and an entrepreneur, where there's that sense of go or urgency or you touched on something there that I like, that notion between the differences of perception and perspective. And the perception typically is the way you see world around you, where the perspective, that's your perception. My perception of my world, the way I see it, is going to be different than the way you see your world and the world around you. Where if I'm able to give myself some perspective, I can sort of understand how you see the world and then be able to communicate with you. So it's understanding of other people's perspectives.
Yeah. Right. We should read our own reports in detail, and then we should swap.
Well, I read mine, but I tried to get into yours. I couldn't. It was locked out. It was just exclusive for you. I was curious. But,
yeah, well, we should exchange reports and read them.
Right. That's a wonderful idea. I think that's on that note. I think yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Earl. This has been amazing. And if people are inspired by this and would like to reach out to you, where can they find you?
So I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. Our website is pretty easy to remember as well. It's peoplefirst.ca. And we have a team of facilitators across the country. And one of the things that I'll do if you're interested, I can, one of the things that we've been doing with teams after a workshop is to make their profiles a little bit more accessible to their colleagues is we've been creating audio podcasts of their profiles. So just using Notebook LM, uploading doing that deep dive into who's Rhys, and those two annoying podcast hosts that you hear on from Google, not these two annoying podcasts, just for clarity, these two podcast hosts are very amenable.
You mean the AI hosts?
The AI podcast hosts, yeah. You've probably heard them a fair bit, but it's kind of a fun, another way for your colleagues to kind of get that user guide to you. So if you're interested, I'll upload your profiles to Notebook LM. I'll send you the link to it, and you can share it with your colleagues and tell them what aspects you either agree with when you forward it on. Here's some things I agree with, or here's some no, they didn't get it quite right.
That'll be fun. Yeah. We should do that.
Well, we will do it. I guarantee you're going to share it with everybody, which would be great.
Really? Do you reckon?
Yeah. Absolutely.
It'd be interesting when my wife and kids think about it. We should do this to the whole family.
I did 1 year. I did a Christmas special for someone from Lockheed Martin. He did it with his corporate team, and his gift to his family was he purchased an Insights Discovery workshop for his whole family. So I keep having to coming back to that, saying you have that difficult gift that you need to buy for someone. Give them the gift of insight.
Exactly. Do they get the blocks too?
Sure. We can make that happen too.
For reference, Rhys has not stopped playing with the blocks this whole podcast.
They're very tactile. I like them. Yep. Is the texture, they go together. It's kind of my thing. So that's
on
awesome.
that note, Earl, thank you very much for coming in.
Yeah,
thank you so much.
Thanks, gentlemen.
The best place to find this podcast is wherever you find podcasts.
That's where I'd start.